Alright guys, let's put our cards down on the table. I'm going to go through the show. Not going to take long. Not because there isn't a lot of content here. It's that it's not necessary. Let's make this very clear. We already know Slammiversary is going to be the most historic show this company has ever had. Period. It will be. The most historical. This is so important for pro wrestling. Legitimately, guys. You've never heard in the history in the last 45 years easily that we had a show from a company other than WWE, when it was WWE because now it's Silver Lake, that we would have not one but two titles that are legitimately going to be historically measured. Because right now, let's make it very clear, it is a big question what is going to happen here in this Slammiversary. And yes, we got more content to go with it, and I'll talk about it. But the big question right now is, and I'll probably repeat it again, will this really become historical? It's going to be historical, but not historical in the fact of it happening, but what the outcome is. Now, Sami Callihan versus a Moose, and this is the setup for Leon Slater at Slammiversary. They just wanted to give Moose dominance, but it was a little bit more than that, because we're getting a new possible story for one person. Moose destroys a Sami Callihan, and when it's all over, and he destroys him with 2 spears, he did get some defense in. This was not about the match. You see Moose talking about Leon Slater and how dominant he is, but then he turns to Sami and says, you used to be the death machine, you used to be destructive, but now you're nothing but a fat slob. Why are you still in my damn ring? Why don't you take off your damn boots, because you know you're damn finished? Why don't you go in the back? You got a great mind for the business, but why don't you get your ass in the back, your big fat ass? And then we see Sami beginning to unlace his boots. He gets so frustrated, he gets out of the ring and then goes to the back. And then, of course, the system comes out, and I'll talk about them in a minute. But Sami is being messed with to stop. Right now, I haven't heard any rumors about Sami quitting the business. I mean, retiring. Wrestling Revolver is still going on. So his promotion still works. It's still there. He's been known to work with TNA as well. But what does this really mean in story? Because we got Sami, who, let's make it very clear, when he first started, he was like this. Not saying he was a skinny guy. Now he looks like this. He has gained weight. Let's make it very clear. Sami is not a small guy anymore. He used to be like this. Now he looks like this. What does that mean? Well, this could mean Sami may go on a diet, and he just wants a reason to be written off TV. You never know. He may just say, you know what, talk in the back, guys, I've gained a lot of weight, and I'm not feeling myself. I need to be written off TV so I can get myself in some shape. That could be it. And that could lead into an actual story, so when he comes back, when Moose sees him and everybody else, he'll be a different person. That could be the story. Or this could be leading into a story where career versus something. You never know. He could go up against Steve Macklin, and he says, title versus career, because of the stress of people saying that I'm not good enough anymore, and thinking of myself, that might be Sami. You never know. But other than that, I don't know what they did. I don't know why they did it. Other than Sami either is going to be written off TV because he does want to slim it down, because he is a much larger guy now. Or 2, they want to try and make this important for Sami because maybe he's going after the International Championship, and they want to do title versus career because of what Moose said. Guys, tell me below what you think. Second, let's make it very clear about the system versus Order 4, which didn't happen. And then they got the asses whooped by Dark State. I said this and I mean it. Dark State on NXT is nothing. I'm not caring about it. I'm not buying it. They booked them terribly. I didn't feel anything other than the Shield mixed with the Nexus. I don't give a damn. But if you put the dark state on, not NXT, but on TNA, and then make them go after the different factions, then it gets a little interesting, but only under one condition. And I've said this already, and I'll talk about it later when it comes to Trick. But if you're actually going there, it makes sense. But this is just me. I'm going to move on. There was no match. Dani Luna versus Tessa Blanchard. And I'm going to say this again when it comes to Tessa and Victoria Crawford. They legitimately look like friends. This isn't just some type of story that they're having Victoria Crawford sticking with Tessa. If you haven't noticed, whenever Tessa goes to the ring with Victoria, legitimately, they have chemistry together. They legitimately look like they're actually enjoying each other's company. Now, I haven't checked any podcasts or anything about Tessa, but I have a feeling that if there's a podcast with Tessa in the last couple of months since she's been working with Victoria, when she was working with Stone, but then Victoria Crawford, I have this feeling the former Alicia Fox, if she doesn't do one, she's going to say me and Tessa are actual friends. It's not just something we see, it's actual friends. And that's going to be interesting. How are they going to book these two together? And will they ever divide them, even if they're in real life, they're real friends? It looks like they're real friends. And I don't think they're going to break them up too soon. So it is nice to see this. It, to be honest, it humanizes her. I'm being honest here. When it comes to Tessa Blanchard, because of all the controversy for so many years, this really helps to humanize her and make her look better for the fans. Not saying fans are not still going to think that she's racist, prejudiced, a terrible piece of work. Of course, there's always going to be fans like that, but the majority of fans will see her differently. Particularly, she's working with the former Alicia Fox. Even if people are going to say, well, Alicia or Victoria is holding her back. Nah, she ain't holding her back. But let me give it to like this. Dani Luna in this match with Tessa Blanchard was very good until that little supposedly trip where she jumps onto the second turnbuckle. She get her leg kicked out and her head hits the back. Oof, that did not look good. That wasn't a joke, guys. Remember, they take solid bumps there. That is wood with some metal under it. With thin padding like this, foam thin padding like this thick. They feel it. So Dani Luna did legitimately bump her head there. That was not good. That was not good at all. Doesn't mean she was hurt, but I didn't like it. Now, when it comes to it, Tessa got helped to win by Victoria happened. But then as they're beating down a little bit Dani Luna, you get Indy coming out to protect her and making it very clear, Tessa, every friend you have, you always push them away. Now, you haven't been friends with me for about 7 years, but you know what? You're going to be reacquainted at Slammiversary because they do have the match. Let me give it to you like this. I am looking forward to this match because it has real life history. And then Dani Luna, and then Jody Threat. Are they really going to go down that route with Jody Threat and Dani Luna? Who is going to be the heel here? Who is going to be the face? Because when you see Indy with Dani Luna, and Jody's asking, you were right, and she says, where were you? She says, I just found out. Well, Indy knew. And then Indy's saying, don't worry, I got it. And she's standing there watching over her. Will there be jealousy? Will there be jealousy from Jody Threat? Or is it going to be mistrust and understanding more with Dani Luna and Indy Hartwell after the match with Tessa Blanchard? Will Tessa bring a little bit of Jody Threat to the dark side? I don't know. You guys tell me below. Next. Icarus versus the Hometown Man. Let's make it very clear. Hometown Man is over. It don't make no difference if you like the Hometown Man or Cody Dean or not. And they're making it, they're blatantly making it clear that he is the Hometown Man. There's no way they're hiding it. They're making it blatant because everyone knows it's him. But seeing that they making it so blatant is funny and people like it. And then seeing Eric Young losing his shit because he can't stand it. Everyone realizes it's him. They still care about him. He should be gone, and he wants to rip his mask off and rip his head off along with him. So it's fine. It's not a bad story. And you could see the people did like it. It wasn't a large amount of the people there, but it was large enough that people like it. And I like it. It's not that bad of a story. Seeing that they were getting nowhere with Cody. They tried what the people want. He did get it over. And now they're going down the angle of the hometown man. It's not 100% bad. But this is just me. 6-man tag. No. Should I do that now? No. Not the 6-man tag. Let me give it to like this. It would be like the 6 knockout tag. But there's no tag. You got another person losing their shit. And that's Ash of Elegance. I think the reason that I said it like that is because you know they want to fight one another, but they're holding back. And this is Fatal Influence versus the Elegance brand. You're seeing, I think I got a picture of it. You see Ash literally freaking out saying, everyone should be talking about me. And she's bending deep. And understand, she's wearing a dress. And she's bending deep. And I think I got the shot of her in a crotch spot. I'll put it in my face. One of the few shots I'll put. And it's like, yeah, she's smart enough to wear black under her black short mini skirt. But when you see that JC James come out, because it was already scheduled, and they're making it very clear with JC James that they don't want to have a problem yet between Fatal Influence and the Elegance brand. But that's where they're going to go after the story between Marsha Slammiversary and JC James. And then Marsha comes out. I've forgotten Marsha said that she's from Brooklyn, New York. I've forgotten. Another New Yorker who makes some sense why. Now, I'm not saying she's from New York. She's just saying she's from New York. She probably is from New York. But let me give it to you like this. This is the real story. Next to the main title, this is the main story. We're talking about now 2 titles that are on the line that will go to either woman. I'll get to that in a minute, but you know what I'm going to talk about. But this is a very important story. Then we get the 4th rope. He's going to be there at Slammiversary. He did not show up at All In. I didn't see him there. Unless he did get in there and then doing like this, and then he got thrown out. I didn't see it at All In. But now he's going to be at Slammiversary. And he's going to possibly bring, what was his name? Tongazilla. I believe that's his name is Tongazilla. That's supposedly in Reality Wrestling right now. I did see him in the Battle Royal months ago. Another Fatu. And the question is going to be, will he actually go there? Because he is working Reality Wrestling. But I think he probably will, because Reality Wrestling is working with WWE, Silver Lake, and TNA. So he could show up there, because if you're seeing Stacks in Reality Wrestling and you're seeing AJ Francis, that doesn't mean you're not going to see Azilla. What is the name? Toazilla, I believe. I can't remember his name right now. But he is Tolazilla Fatu. I think that's his name. So, I don't know yet. Now, Matt Cardona versus Painter, which doesn't happen. It's just a beatdown. Dark State comes in. Like I said, Dark State means more than anything. You don't feel it in NXT, but you do feel Dark State here, that you have them going up against the factions. And basically, the system comes in and saves him after he gets his ass whooped. Well, technically, Brian Myers comes in first, then the rest of the system comes in, and then Dark State runs off. I'm not hating it. At least not in NXT. Well, not NXT. I am not liking NXT. I actually hate NXT. But TNA, I don't mind it here. I don't. It's an outside faction messing with the other factions. I can go with this. What did I think about the Hardys? saying if they do not win at Slammiversary, they're going to basically leave. I don't know how to feel about that. Now, Leon Slater spoke well, and I want to make this very clear. If you hear Leon Slater compared to Devon Evans, Leon sounds better than Devon. And I'm not saying that Devon is a bad talker. Not. But you can tell that Leon has more charisma than Devon does. He just does. So he sounds better as he talks. That's how it is. And he's basically telling the Hardys, I'm not a fanboy at this moment, but I'm a guy who wrestled with you and tried to keep up with you for the last 6 months. And I can tell you right now, you guys still got it. And you need to keep it. Because if I'm winning the X Division title because of you guys making me into a man, from a little kid to a man in 6 months, you two need to step up because I don't want you leaving. Because he's basically saying, I don't want you guys to go because you're still my teachers, you're my friends. I think that's what he wanted to say. Then First Class came out, then the Nimitz came out, then there was a fight. And this is setting up the Fatal 4-Way at Slammiversary, which I'm interested in seeing. And it's a ladder match, which is going to make it more interesting. How is AJ Francis going to get his big ass up that ladder and not hurt himself, or not just reach up really high because he's already very tall as it is? How they're going to do it, I don't know. Let me give it to you like this. Why do we have this match? Santana and Joe versus Trick and Kaz. Why do you do the coexisting bit? Why? We already had that on NXT. Now we have it here. And the kicker here for me is this. I know people say, well, NXT had theirs. TNA's got to have their own as well. It makes sense. And it means you could say yes. But it's so cookie cutter. You got to understand. TNA, Impact Wrestling, has always copied WWE. It's always been known as WWE Light. That's how it's always been. But now in a collaboration, you would think that TNA management and TNA creative would say, okay, we are working with them now. We are doing certain things different. Let's try to make sure we don't make a copy, because before we used to, but now we're working so close with them, it doesn't look good. Let's not copy a coexisting type of match. Let's do something different. Let's try them talking. Let's try to have one of them have a match and the other two are talking. Then maybe a fight or something will break out between them. And the third person, which could be Trick, Joe, or could be Santana in the ring, is watching, and then they lose the match. Something different. Something you would not expect. It's not about coexisting in the ring. You could just coexisting, period. You could try that. Something different, but we didn't get that. We got the match. Of course, Santana got the pin on Kaz. Kaz was going to eat the pin because, of course, Trick was not. But then you see them all three in the ring. Like, we're going to do this now. And this is the end of the review. Now, what my feelings are. Let me give it to you like this. Other than the inspiration, talking, and I think I had to bring in inspiration, Cassie and Jess. Got to bring them in because this is going to be a make and break moment for them at Slammiversary. Are they going to do the same stuff they did 3 years ago and do this constantly, or are they going to do something different? You see the vid pack they did. The titties look great. They're both gorgeous. But are they going to do the same stuff as they did before when they go up against the Elegance brand? And here, you got two distinct matches that's going to make history. Not take anything from Leon Slater, that he could make history as well, because he will be the youngest X Division champion in history if he wins the Slammiversary. That is also a historical thing, but as much as it's a TNA history, this is going to be a wrestling history thing. We have the possibility of two matches that will define pro wrestling for the next 10 years. I'm telling you this right now. The first match, which will be between Trick, Santana, and the Joe Henry. Will they let Joe Henry get the title? Will they let Santana get the title? Or are they going to do what I think they may do and make it about going to Bound for Glory and then doing something very special? Because right now, it is obvious it can be easily history. Because it will be history. We got a NXT wrestler who's holding a TNA title who's going against one former title holder and one who is not a title holder. Joe is a former title holder and Santana who is not. But Santana's been pushed so well, he easily could win and he is instantly over as it is. Will they do that? Will they give it to Santana after letting Joe already have it, which already made them very, very popular, and now going from a song that Joe did to Santana, who's been naturally built in the company? Will they hand it over to him? It's going to be a big question. Will they wait until, not Slammiversary, but Bound for Glory to drop it, or are they going to do it here? Then, you got the real important historical fact. You're going to let Marshall Slamovich or JC James hold both titles. Will they really go there? Let's make this very clear. It's the same with Trick Williams and also Leon Slater. Will they go there with Leon Slater, letting him be the first and youngest wrestler in history at 20 years old? He's not 21 yet. Will they let Trick Williams hold on to that title up until Bound for Glory, their most signature show? Or are they going to let Marshall Slamovich actually hold both titles, not just the TNA title, but the NXT title, and she will be the first wrestler to ever hold a title that is not employed by the company? That is something that has never been done. Not saying that it wasn't done, and I want to make this very clear. If you don't know, because this is something that not every pro wrestling fan knows. Remember, when you know about Ric Flair worked for the National Wrestling Alliance. Just in case anyone doesn't know, I'm sure there's more than a few wrestling fans who knows this. But remember, the National Wrestling Alliance, which was formed, I believe, in 1949, was set up to allow one major title to travel around all the other promotions, to give their top wrestler from each of those promotions a rub from the National Wrestling Alliance top star to make them mean something, to help their promotion. That was the only time another wrestler would hold a title that could legitimately go to another promotion. Because if you didn't count Ric Flair, they once in a while would allow someone from one of the other territories to hold it for a while and then go around. And not saying that all the promotions didn't have their own separate titles, but that title means a lot because they always talked about it. This is the only time you're going to see something like this happen since the time of the territory days, where a title from one company is going to be around the waist of someone from another company that is, and I know you're going to say, well, New Japan has done it, Pro Wrestling No has done it, other companies have done it. It's not about them. It's about a national and international promotion, and I'm kind of stretching it with WWE because it's not a promotion anymore. It's a satellite company posing as a promotion. And to be honest, and we are being honest here, let's go 100 with you. TNA and WWE are no longer promotions. Let's make it very clear. They're owned by corporations. They're not real promotions anymore. They're not. Yes, their business is wrestling. And I've said it very clear that any time the CEO of Silver Lake, the CEO, well, it is Silver Lake. It's not really Endeavor Group Holdings anymore. It's more Silver Lake is owning. They can say to WWE, instead of pro wrestling, make them dance. And they would have to make them dance. And that's not much different with Anthem either. Anthem CEO can say, TNA, make them do Victoria's Secret stuff. It makes more money. We want to make money. And it makes no difference. Makes no difference if that is what wrestling fans want or not. That's what the CEO wants. They're going to do it or they get fired. So let's make it clear, make it 100. Both TNA and WWE are no longer promotions. They are doing wrestling, but they're both owned by corporations that can give an order to legitimately change their content to anything that CEO wants. But if you take away that part, you have not seen a company as big as WWE in a long time, only one that comes close is WCW, to be able to do something like that. Back in the 80s, back then, before the territories were obliterated by Vince. So this is going to be historical. But this is just me. Tell me how you feel. Do you believe I'm right? Do you believe I'm wrong? What are you thinking about when it comes to Slammiversary? What is the thing you're looking forward to? I'm looking forward to 3 matches. The X Division title, the Knockouts title versus the NXT title, and the Men's World title. Not taking anything about Steve Macklin. The international title is going to be defended, I'm sure, but it's not something that important right now. It's just these 3 titles. But it's just me. Peace.